How to paint plastic? Stick around and you'll find out. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to How to Paint Plastic. I'm going to take you through a step-by-step video today on how you prepare and paint a plastic bumper, whether it be a bumper or a plastic shape, what we've got here today. Now, what we're going to be painting today are some like half tanks. I've got absolutely loads of these. Now, I'm going to get these prepped up. These are going out to a subscriber that follows the channel. He's a newbie to airbrushing, and I said I'd get some of these prepped up so he can have a go on something that's like the size of a half tank. So he wants to practice on some panels instead of paper. So I'm going to take you through a little step by step on getting these panels up into primer. So the first thing you need to do is, one, clean your panel down that you're working on. Give it a good clean down first in a wax and grease remover to get all the contaminants off, and then you can start sanding. Now, these speed shapes are really smooth anyway, so we're just going to go down on these with a 320 disc, sand and keel the surface up with 320. Then we can go in with a plastic primer, and then I'm going to put these into a 2K high build primer. But the 2K high build I'm going to thin out so it's nice and like consistency thin, so when we spray it we just get a nice flat finish on these. We don't want loads of build on these because these are just practice panels. We just want a surface that's primed that he can knock back and then just put a little bit of base coat down, and he's good to go for airbrushing on the panel. So stick around, grab yourself a drink. First time lapse will be the clean down, then we'll do the prep side of things, and then when we come to the primers, I'll talk you through the primers and you'll see the application of the primers. I'll see you in a bit. Clean down stage done. Now the next step on this is just to key these up. Now, as you can see, I've made a start on this. Just a 320 over the top, scuff the surface back. This will take off any like little bumps or imperfections. As I say, these are really smooth to work on, guys, and nice and good if you want to practice on a shape, do some artwork on. You can pin line these out and do them like half Harley tanks, like I've got the Flake King ones in the studio. Did the same thing with them, just for practice panels, they're really good. So a nice key over the surface. Now if you're doing like a new bumper or something like that on vehicle, you can scotch the surface back in like a red scotch. You're not going to go too coarse on it. If it's brand new, just sort of prep it the ways that you would, and then go up with your primers and your things like that. So that's this one done nice and quick. So you're aiming for that, dulling that surface all off. So that one's good to go on prep. Got two more to do, and then I'll talk you through the next stage. That's the prep done, so we've got all three half tanks. Well, they look like half tanks. Plastic, sanded down and prepped and ready to go. Now I went in with a 320 on that, and as you can see, scuffed it right back, so a lot of that chrome like plating it is gone, but that is good enough to go for the next stage. Now as you can see, that's full of dust, so the next stage is clean your work down again. Try and clean your work as you go along these processes as much as you can. Keep it nice and clean, blow any dust off, wipe it down with degreaser, ready for your next layer of paint that's going to go on. I'm going to clean down again with wax and grease remover, blow these off, tack rag them off to get any excess dust on, and we're going to go in with some plastic primer, which is that one. Recommend it, it works really well. Give these a nice, not a really heavy coat, they don't need a heavy coat, just a nice even light coat all over. One sealed coat, and that will adhere to the plastic, and then you can put your primer down on top of that. So I'll stick you in a time lapse, I'll get all these cleaned up, and then we'll move on to the plastic primer stage. See you in a bit. Moving on, guys, excuse the noise, this extractor going. So they are all cleaned down, tack ragged them off, glue them off. I've got the plastic primer in the Impact Junior. That's just like a straight out the tin mix. Going to give these a coat of plastic primer, and then we can move on to the 2K high build. So stick you in a time lapse, see you in a bit. Primer, first coat of primer down. As you can see, that's gone down nice and silky smooth on that. Mixed it 4:1 and then just thinned it so I could thin it and put it through the Impact Junior. So it's a nice consistent set, and it just lays down nice and flat. Don't go too wet on your coats, just build your first coat up. So nice coverage all over, let that flash off. We'll open the gun up a little bit, open it up to full, and we'll just start building these layers up. As I say, we don't want too much of a thicker build like you would normally mix it with a little less thinners, so it's really thick, because these surfaces are really smooth anyway. A little bit of build on it so you can knock it back, and then you can prep it up to like a 500 or a 320 after, and then you can go in with his base colours. So just let this flash off with it, and we'll drop a couple more coats down. Guys, we are all done. The half tanks have had 3 coats of MIPA 2K high build primer. I mixed it 4:1 and gave it like 20% thinners, made it a little bit thinner. 3 good coats, and that's how they come out, all nice and flat. Just a little bit of prep on them to do, a little bit of guide coat, knock it back with a 320 or 500, and then you're good for your base coats. And these make really good practice panels. I've got 2 Harley ones there and the Flake King ones. When you're a beginner, all you seem to get used to doing is painting and airbrushing on flat surfaces. So having a round half tank shape just gets you used to painting on something different and moving your artwork into like corners and things like that on round surfaces. So I hope you enjoyed the video on painting plastic. Nice and simple. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe, press that notification, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.